broken. They went with green for the Akali. Do not want Creme to be able to get his hands on that one, but that does leave open things like the Zeri, things that can, you know, kind of be very powerful. But I think OMG are kind of left themselves in a situation where, okay, we kind of need to take the Sylas here because I don't think WE will hesitate to take it again.
Yeah, and you can see it there, Creme taking that one for himself. Curious to see what the game plan is now from WE. I still think the Zeri, very strong pick, worth getting for yourself. She did get nerfed coming into 12-12, and the damage on her W down, but I still think she's a very strong pick on the current patch, and still something to be feared in that AD carry role.
Absolutely, we will see that locked in and loaded now. WE, they could go with the Bel'Veth. It is enabled on this particular patch, but we're going to see them maybe wait for that one. The Bel'Veth's an interesting one. Everyone obviously saw that, you know, the kit was overloaded, everything like that. A lot of situations you need the Bel'Veth to really kind of hit into before you can pick it in.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a late game pick, so you're kind of leaning into a case of we want to slowly scale up, and I just don't think it can slot into a lot of situations at the moment, in LPL specifically, because of how much action there is around objectives and everything else. I feel like she just kind of gets outpaced by the game from an LPL side of things, so I'm not surprised to see some teams starting to stay away from that, whereas she's much more popular over in the LEC, where you have that slower pace of game, where she can get time to get to that late game monster.
Absolutely, and now with your bot lane locked in here, OMG, I would not be surprised for them to go, ooh, okay, they're going for the Tristana here, so they're looking to try and just maybe get a bit of a counter, level 2 all in. Very difficult to do that against something like a Nautilus, but hey, if it works out, you could end up having a much better snowball of a time. If it doesn't, though, we might see a repeat of game 1.
OMG have run this Tristana already against EDG. Like, they actually just really like this pick, or at least Abel really likes this pick. And I think it can do reasonably well getting pushed on that bot side. You do end up having kind of a case of just outscaling as well against the Zeri when it comes to that range. So that helps out quite a bit. But Zeri's AoE damage in team fight still a huge amount. I do like that they're paired up with the Amumu though. Amumu got some buffs, so you're only looking at 30 mana on his initial Qs. So those early levels 1, 2, 3 to 4 is where Amumu can actually get a lot of pressure in this matchup.
The ADC locked and loaded. We're seeing a lot more of the big Birdman himself coming out into full fruition, and honestly does semi-decently into the Sylas as well. So, and obviously it kind of fits into Shanks' wheelhouse. Not one of the 3 that I remember, of course. If you did watch Shanks back in 2021, it was very much the Syndra, the Rise. That would be kind of those big picks for in terms of control mages. But the ADC can do similar themes in terms of keeping a control of an area and scaling up to be a late game monster.
And I think that's what they're trying to aim for here on WE side, is just kind of bypass the mid-game spike that OMG have. But I've been a bit hit or miss on the ADC because I think he takes so long to become massively relevant that oftentimes the game can bypass you. And it means that you're kind of taking your hands off the wheel as well when it comes towards the mid jungle as well, because ADC offers so little when it comes towards, you know, skirmishes and river in the early stages. Even setup or pre-6 is really difficult for the ADC. So I think you're kind of handing a lot of that control to OMG, which could be an issue now for WE when so much of their success in the last game came through that mid jungle.
Well, with the jungle and top bans now coming in, well, the Sejuani technically also still a jungle ban, but nevertheless, it is going to be the Sejuani, the Lee Sin, the Gnar, and the Trundle all being banned away. And honestly, I think WE, they could be happy to take themselves the Gangplank again. It did so well, and again, those big things that could kill it, the Gnar and the Gwen, not available to either side.
Yes, I'm curious to see now what's going to go for here. BiuBiu going to go back towards the Gangplank, so happy to just blind pick this, it seems like, and I think it's a good shout. The only thing is you've got much more mobility on OMG side this time around, so you're not going to have as easy as a time with things like the Cannon Barrage and kind of dictating the pace of the fights, but just wanted to get it away from Shanji's hands. But I'm not sure what Shanji wants to try and answer back into with this. Opportunity to go for something like a Kayle or something along these lines if you want to in the top side of the map, especially when you have so many engage tools between the Sylas and the Amumu. Maybe you do just go for some sort of carry in the top lane for Shanji.
Oh, maybe they're gonna lock it in. There it is. I love this. So again, if you're only joining us, first of all, you a real one if you're joining us for this particular matchup. Not gonna say why, but we're gonna come back into it. But Shanji, massive Rumble player, was one of the few picks that he was able to pick up and do exceptionally well with when he first came into the lineup, and it's just become a standard pocket pick for him and his team.
Yeah, and I think it's such a strong pick into the Gangplank as well, because one of the big benefits of Gangplank is his ability to bully lane, use the Grasp of the Undying. He has the oranges to make sure that he's able to get away from any sort of hard CC, but Rumble doesn't really have hard CC. Instead, he's got a very damage heavy kit in the early stages of the game, something with a bunch of slows, so then you can try and keep pace with the Gangplank despite the fact he might have the oranges. And as well, the ability to chase him down is really high. So I think a nice pickup here for Shanji, and I think it works super well across the board, right? Rumble ult with Amumu ult works super well. Even early game damage on your top side between the 3 melee champions and OMG is going to be sky high. Plus the opportunity to just lean into this mid-game spike we're pointing out for OMG is absolutely absurd with the composition they have right now.
Really, really is. You look at some of the big one-item spikes they have on them, it's actually kind of insane. When they hit level 6, they should, quote-unquote, be able to get themselves some very big advantages. But if that mid-game doesn't hit, if they do not hit hard and get themselves ahead, or even fall behind, because you have the Volibear last pick there for Beishang, you're going to be in a world of hurt. A Gangplank, a Zeri, and a Zeri, you don't stand a chance in the late game if it goes beyond 25-30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, at least looking at OMG's comp, I feel like they should have the opportunity to play very heavily around that item spike. I think you've got great mid jungle with the Xin Zhao and the Sylas, something that can set up for the Xin Zhao very well. You can look to try and lean off that towards both Dragon and the top side of the map as well, where you've got this Rumble that can be very strong. Great engage setup, because not only are you looking at the support engage on the bottom side, with the Amumu, you're also looking at the Sylas that has a ton of opportunities to steal away things like the Volibear ultimate. You got the opportunity to take the Nautilus ult as well. That sets up super well for the Rumble to throw down the equalizer on top. Across the board, you just have very easy to execute team fight, and I think that always works out very well for these types of compositions where they want to try and play around that mid game spot.
Yeah, absolutely. WE though, they're gonna have to try and survive the torrent of power coming out from OMG in this early to mid game, and let's see if Beishang can have the same impact he did in game 1. Remember, he was the MVP, and he also just straight up owned the jungle on this Volibear in game 1. So we jump into the map for game 2. WE 1-0 up. OMG looking to bounce back, and WE looking to see if they can actually take their first series win in a 2-0 fashion. Would be pretty damn significant for them.
Yeah, I mean, OMG just off the back of beating EDG, a team that we talked about already starting to step up, and a team that, I mean, we have looked at in playoffs before, especially when Creme initially joined the roster. This was the guy that was the hype player on OMG, bringing out these assassins, bringing out these melee champions like the Akali that have been respected ever since he brought them to the forefront. Now on the Sylas, back onto this comfort pick. We'll have to see if Creme can step up to be that big carry once more for OMG.
Wait to see now how it ends up going, though. Again, a very early aggression came out from WE in game 1. OMG need to be very aware of that. You can see already they're putting down some decent wards, a bit more aggressive, bit more kind of, covering their lanes. And honestly, if they could just stop Beishang from having that early impact he did, they'd be in a very, very good position. But like we said, it's all about how this early to mid game ends up going. As we can see, Shanji and BiuBiu already going toe-to-toe, and you cannot underestimate the power of that passive from Gangplank. The first auto attack, getting that burn, can do a significant amount of damage.
You just have to be careful of Shanji's passive as well. The overheat damage that comes through on the auto attacks is insanely high, but very difficult to try and get at level 1. So level 2 is where Shanji is really going to start to come alive, because he can actually stack up the overheat rather than actually just finding you've got to spam that ability a ton if you even can. Honestly, you can't even get it level 1 overheated at the moment.
I'm pretty sure you can
if you start Q. Yeah, so Shanji definitely needs to wait a little bit before it becomes relevant in this lane. But I think from WE's perspective, just hitting back onto your point of being aggressive, they can't really do so, as you can see on the bot side, because you don't win this bot lane matchup at the moment, with Cole having just a big push. Shanks isn't really got set up for Beishang in the mid lane, and BiuBiu is the same. So this Volibear kind of needs to act as a counter gank measure rather than an initial setup, and that makes things so much harder for Beishang in this regard.
That's why you're the smart one. That's why you're the one who comes out with the info. You can see through the lines. But I will say that Shanks doing very well at the moment to get the early push is to be expected. It is ranged into melee as of right now. The real matchup kind of begins for Creme. He actually went with the first strike, which is very curious there to try and maybe, you know, get some early trades off for him. But Cold and Abel already using the priority in mid lane to try and roam themselves up. Very difficult to try and catch at a level 3 ADC. He's got the shifting sands. It's just become so slippery.
So that's exactly why that slipperiness we're seeing Creme go for the first strike. The Conquer is really nice for healing, really nice when you can go for these extended trades and if you can get that working in team fights. But in this sort of situation, Creme, because you've got a ton of slipperiness on WE side, probably won't get these big extended fights where you can proc the Conquer and continues to use that throughout. Instead, he has to try and rely on that burst damage first strike offers.
Yeah, well, Beishang flashes away because he recognizes he doesn't have his top laner to help him out or his mid. Now Creme going to get the abscond abduct. Beishang is going to go down. First blood to OMG. Much better start for them.
And this is what we were talking about. OMG have the opportunity to try and play around this mid jungle so much easier. This is the downside of the ADC and why he's sitting at, I think he's like a 38% win rate. Like, it's really abysmal because you don't get to have that early game pressure, and teams in the LPL are so good at abusing that fact.
Yeah, Aki just being a nuisance right now, spamming the emotes as well, saying like, hey, what are you going to do about it? You can't really go toe-to-toe with me right now. And yeah, this is just becoming a little bit of a problem now for the side of WE. We talked about how if they can survive the early to mid game, they should have a chance, but you got to get there. And right now, it is going to be Aki just putting down a lot more pressure on the Xin Zhao at the moment.
I'd like to correct myself. I gave way too much credit to the Azir. He's at a 32% win rate. Yeah, it hasn't been working out so hot. And look, you can kind of see why. And OMG now, using the fact that they have good pressure on bot side, good control over top, start to establish that vision control. They take the Skull Crab and River. They've got a few of those wards start to drift in onto WE side of the map. And it's making things easier for Shanji here, who's bullying BiuBiu to hell. Bot side can get to play aggressive because they know, actually, BiuBiu are dead.
Yeah, BiuBiu flashes, Shanji flashes away, and that's going to be a nice solo kill for Shanji. We highlighted him at the start of the match, and we really said that him and top lane solo kills are huge for OMG, and he gets just that.
I don't know what BiuBiu was thinking. Like, you just got to accept that that wave is gone. Like, there's so much damage that this Rumble could do, and Shanji, especially running the Ignite, was always going to get the kill in that situation. I'm shocked that BiuBiu died to that. Like, we're going to get the replay here, but like, good poke from Shanji. I mean, does overheat, so he's just kind of taking it slow, but I mean, you've got Arcane Comet about to come back up. Shanji's getting like a ton of damage off, and yeah, I mean, I don't get it at all.
Yeah, it's little bit of greed, maybe a little bit of underestimation, a lot of disrespect, and now you got about 1,000 gold lead here for OMG. They've got solo kills in their solo lanes, well, almost solo kills for Creme, but yeah, this is kind of going very, very well for them. And like you said, bot lane for Smlz and Heal, they're not in a position to be able to make a big play, make themselves, you know, a 2v2 as such, because the Tristana and the Amumu are just going to have so much more priority than they will. So you're kind of sitting in this situation where you're just bouncing back the waves, waiting to react, you know, as you said earlier, to a gank coming out from Aki and hope that Beishang's in position.
I'm going to... That analysis is great. I just really dislike this Amumu skin. Because every time I look at it, I'm just like... I've just seen people int on Amumu every so often. And when you're wearing the porcelain skin, it just feels so... in sync with the way that some people play Amumu.
Yeah, it's like... no, it's not the porcelain skin, is it? I thought it was the birthday skin. No, is it?
He's a teapot.
Is he a teapot? Oh, he is. It's a chroma. I forgot it was. It's blue and white. And that's why I got really confused. I thought it was the other one. But we are gonna see. Ooh, that was very close there. If Creme lands that abscond abduct with the Amumu coming, would have been a very difficult situation. BiuBiu now gonna get run down underneath the tower. That equalizer is burning him down. This is why you run the Sword Shoes as your first item. And putting the Cannon Barrage there, honestly, feels a little bit weird. It felt like he could have maybe waited for it closer to the tower, but BiuBiu. BiuBiu.
Oh no.
BiuBiu.
I don't want to look. Look away. If there's young children in the room, look away.
It's going to be BiuBiu saying bye-bye, and he's going to go down. Creme does not even have to use the Emperor's Divide. And yeah, this is the OMG I expected to come into the series. And honestly, looking at this Sylas pick right now, this is looking like a must-ban in the Game 3 if we get there.
Yeah, we're going to have to see if WE can try and respond, though. Beishang is moving down here. Shanks is on the way as well, but looks like they're just going to taking the turret plates instead for Smlz. So at least trying to get something back, but BiuBiu again just kind of disrespecting OMG on the map and ends up paying for it.
Paying for it big time, and he might still get. Oh, they still have the
no.
Emperor's Divide, Dagda.
Oh no, cover
they
the eyes
still
again.
Have it.
Cover their eyes again.
Oh no, BiuBiu. Where can you go? Absolutely nowhere. 3-0-0 for Creme. And now you have to make something happen. You can see WE, they're getting a little bit anxious. They're getting a little bit desperate. They know they have to try and make something happen because they're losing too much on the map. But you've already got...
TP.
They've
Creme has TP is going to be back up in a moment, and OMG know it. That's why they're just kind of sitting there trying to taunt WE underneath the tower, because they know Creme can show up. And now that the wave's been dispersed, WE have to disappear. And that's everything smooth sailing now for OMG.
Yeah, Beishang will pick up a very small consolation prize. Consolation? Not quite a star prize, but a consolation.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Oh, BiuBiu. No. He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine.
No, he's not.
I think he's going to be fine. He's probably not going to be fine. He's not going to be fine. He's not going to be fine. Oh, my God. Oh.
Leave BiuBiu alone. Stop the bullying. This is so mean. BiuBiu doesn't deserve this kind of treatment.
Not fair. I hope we don't get a replay. I hope
we will definitely get a replay. It's going to zoom in on BiuBiu dying. I'm ready for it.
Oh, Lord. I mean, I'd argue that at this point in time, BiuBiu spent more time walking to lane than in lane. Like, yeah. that's where we're at right now. And Beishang still trying to make something happen. He has a full top side of camps to try and take, but he just can't right now. He just can't leave this bot lane, because if he tries to go for something top, it's no point. BiuBiu's so far behind now at this point. It's 0-4, and it doesn't really make a difference. He has to make something work. He's desperate to try and make it happen. They're going to try and fully commit to it. They turn off the tower. The cleanse comes out from Abel, but he knocks him back with the buster shot. Abel finally goes down. They're tanking this one up very nicely. WE eventually get 2 kills on the board, but I think BiuBiu's looking at them from the the window of the car that's going away from his best friend, saying, "I want to be where the people are."
Yeah, there's no place like home, but BiuBiu has kind of been on the fountain too many times, so it's basically his home now. The OMG though do manage to pick up the Rift Tower off the back of that, starting to move in onto the red buff as well. Should be able to clear out all those camps you nicely pointed out. We're still up pushing. At least you are getting something back for Smlz on that bot side as we get the replay here. Like, the majority of the wave was already cleared out, so at least Abel not going to miss out on too much there. I want to... he tried to buffer the rocket jump, but looks like he just didn't quite get it far enough. And the tower just being disabled for so long means that you're always going to get the kill, especially with Shanks coming down off the back of that. You can see Creme was trying to follow, but just short and a little bit late on the cover. Means that at least WE gets something.
They get something. They're actually only about 1,500 gold behind BiuBiu. He had an orange, so he's fine.
Oh, he's dead though.
Oh, the flash! Shanji, though, will trade it back.
Shield?
No, the shield, this overheated scrap shield is enough. Shanji, 3-0-2, and now he's up to 10 solo kills.
There's a reason people respect Ban the Rumble. Like, this guy knows exactly how to play this, and I just want to take a quick look at both Shanji and Creme's inventories, because they're running the Dark Seals. They ain't gonna let up. Yep. They want to make sure that they're able to put as much of those kills into that little ring, somehow magically transform it into a book. I don't know. I personally think the book is more cumbersome than a ring. I would rather that they did it the reverse way around.
This is the
but
thing,
whatever.
Right? You know, the Medjai Soul Stealer isn't actually a book. It's an amplifying tome that has a Medjai Soul Stealer in it. It's a curse. That's what people don't get. It's not a book.
What do you think a tome is? A tome is a book.
I know a tome is a book, but the actual Medjai Soul Stealer isn't the book. It's just in a book. It's like Yumi. Yumi's not a book. She's just in a book, you know?
Well, WE trying to book it right now.
I mean, they got to book it. They're going to try and run away here as Creme going to find heal. Never mind, going to be stolen by Aki. You get yourselves a dragon, so they give themselves a little bit of extra time. It's a good trade here for WE. I feel like when you're behind, you have to try and take whatever objectives you can get.
I feel like taking the Cloud Dragon, though, is just kind of helping OMG. Like, 1 Cloud Dragon isn't great. 3 potential X-Tech Dragons, though. I'm all on board for that if I'm OMG.
True. Does delay the spike a little bit in terms of the actually getting the soul. But yes, I do agree. It would be pretty nice to have that extra little bit of ability haste and, of course, attack speed. Arguably one of the strongest, if not the strongest. That's a 3-level difference in top lane. Just wanted to point that out. And it's going to keep getting worse.
Yeah.
I think
BiuBiu doesn't exist in this game.
He does not exist. He needs to start taking, like, wards, camps. Honestly, right now, I think WE should just turn around and say, cool, let's just put Zeri in topside to collect waves or something like that to try and deal with it. I don't know. I'm probably talking complete
I think he'd have fallen further. Oh, wait, no, BiuBiu. Okay.
He's fine. He had a ward. He had a ward.
Oh, Shanji knows. Shanji's just looking for him. So we'll actually spot him out, and he can hit him before he hits the wave. Okay. The cat and mouse game continues.
The tower is dead. There is no cat and mouse game. There is just death and pain for BiuBiu coming out here as Shanji is just using so much of this time to make sure he gets every single minion killed off before he takes that tower just before 14 minutes, so he gets the full benefit of the gold as well.
Well, BiuBiu, we barely got to see you this game. Unfortunately, I don't think you're going to get to see a huge amount going on for the rest of this game either. OMG, though, now getting, topside under their control. Mid lanes, nearly gone. Honestly, I think you just start to rotate Shanji around the map now, because if BiuBiu is smart, he will try and freeze this wave down in towards his own turret, so then he can try and get as much gold as possible without Shanji being able to really threaten him. But even then, I think with 3 kills to his name, like the 3-level advantage over BiuBiu, the 2-level advantage over Beishang, I actually think there's a potential he wins the 2v1 as well. So I don't really know, if you have a chance here on the top side of the BiuBiu.
3,000 gold is the difference. It's a 4,000 gold difference right now. It's literally just basically on Shanji. Creme has a little bit of a gold lead, and like you said, the ADC is just going to kind of perpetually scale forever. As now OMG just trying to create pockets of vision where they know that WE can't see where they are. They're going to try and maybe commit to this one. There's the abscond abduct, but a good dredge line on top of the tower means he'll keeps himself alive. And yeah, honestly, right now, as OMG, this is the big power spike you were talking about. The rumble is massive. You've got an item on pretty much everybody on your team. This is where you're going to start to feel the pressure as WE.
Yeah, and the fact that you're even getting the double Night Harvester build actually coming through from OMG is super interesting as well. Night Harvester was buffed on the last on 12-11. So then you got like the increased ability haste, the soul rend cooldown is down as well from 40 seconds to 30 seconds. So you're getting a ton more damage coming off at more regular intervals. And I think it makes a lot of sense in this scenario where you want to try and burst someone out. This is just going to deal so much damage so incredibly fast from both solo laners.
This is the thing, even if Shanji's playing quote-unquote weak side, he's not really playing weak side because he's got an equalizer. He's going to be able to equalize the wave, but no one's going to be able to stop him. Abel will jump over. Red buff has been taken. But yeah, this is basically just put BiuBiu in a hole and see what happens. Nearly 50 CS up. Nearly, honestly, look at his items. Like he's almost got himself his mythic, but it's just not quite there, and that's just going to delay you even further. Even looking down towards bot lane, Smlz was ahead on goal, but still went for the Zeal second without finishing the Immortal Shield bow, so he's a little bit delayed as well.
Honestly, I think it's also a bit of a mistake from BiuBiu not going towards a Merc Threads in this scenario. Getting early boots in this matchup is super valuable just because the ability for Shanji to chase you down is sky high. The Merc Threads obviously give you a bit of magic resist there as well. So, I don't know. I know BiuBiu is a little bit poor at the moment, but I still think the Merc Threads over the Hex Trigger might have been a little bit more valuable. But either way, it probably wasn't a change too many things. I think Shanji just so far ahead at this stage. Also, Smlz going for a bit of a weird build, I just noticed. Not finishing the Immortal Shield Bow, instead getting the Zeal, which I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of. I think, well, now he's just finished the Immortal Shield Bow, but I think the burst damage on OMG's side meant that the Immortal Shield Bow was going to give you a lot more value, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because they weren't going to fight, but just an interesting path that he took to that Immortal Shield Bow.
Yeah, delayed him a little bit like you said, but Dragon now going over to the side of OMG. You are still seeing BiuBiu just kind of freeze this top side as much as he possibly can. This is the problem when you want to try. This is technically the correct thing to do. BiuBiu is not a champion right now. He needs levels at minimum to try and have an impact on this game, but it is going to see heal. Oh, he gets hit by the bandage toss, and he's going to be falling down dead. I don't know why he flashes there. You know there's a second bandage toss coming, and that's going to be the summoner gone and his life. Good capitalization here from OMG.
Yeah, and you kind of were hitting on it there, Rushing. This is the downside, unfortunately, for that, is that you actually get to start moving people around the map to look for plays, because BiuBiu needs to try and freeze the wave and topside to get some gold back into his pocket. And OMG, respectfully, just run around into the bot side jungle, catch out one member. Now they're going to push mid with this Rift Herald as well. And it looks like this mid lane turret shouldn't be left standing for very long.
No, and this is the thing. This is why it's so hard to turtle, so hard to continuously get gold or to kind of come back into a game, especially against LPL teams, because we don't, a lot of our teams don't allow you just to sit back and relax and take up farm. They're proactive. They're constantly looking for plays, even though they had everyone on the bot side of the map. Creme had a TP, which means they could fully commit to the bot side, fully commit to the mid lane, and then chuck up the TP up the top side. So they're not losing anything. They're not losing waves, and you're just falling further and further behind. 5,000 gold. I'm almost 99% sure that is exclusively on Shanji and Creme. No one else is either behind or equal in terms of their gold percentages, but now you got to try and figure out where the next play is here for OMG. Where do you want to try and continue this one now that you have a Medjai's Soul Stealer for Creme?
Yeah, I mean, you just look to see if you can get the dragon in 3 minutes. Add a third one to your belt buckle. It means that then in 10 minutes time, you should have that soul for yourself. The biggest thing is just trying to establish vision control now on this bottom side of the map, so that then you can successfully contest this bot lane tier 2 push. Because I imagine that's where OMG are going to put a lot of the resources. Although, as I said, that BiuBiu is the one actually going bot, so maybe they want to try and play away from BiuBiu and actually just go up towards the top end. But either way, push mid, lean to a side, get your vision control established for the next objective is your best bet.
Just trying to keep control of your own jungle right now seems to be the biggest issue for the side of WE. They don't really have anyone who can face check comfortably. Yes, Beishang could technically go in, but even then, he's going to be bursted down so quickly. We're actually going to see a collector coming out from Abel in a second. They might go for a 20-minute Baron right now. OMG are thinking about it because they have full control, and there's no way that WE can even contest it, can even face check it.
And this is the OMG that just beat EDG. This is an OMG on comfort picks across the board, and they look so incredibly strong. And with 20 minutes on the clock, do we actually get the Baron before the fight?
They know what's happening, though. They popped down a Scryer's Bloom, so they know that it's going on. But this is actually a little bit of an unfortunate one for OMG because it's giving free time on the bot side to BiuBiu. BiuBiu isn't going to be contested, and that should just be a tower. So I like the idea, but this early on in the game, when at the full power to take it so quickly, you're just kind of losing out.
Yeah, and because Code didn't find the engage, he ends up standing at the back of the pit and taking a ton of damage off the Baron. But now BiuBiu...
Yeah, BiuBiu, you know what's going to happen. You know how this one goes. We salute you. Let's see how much gold he's worth. Not a lot. 176. So, you know what? It's still a net positive play for the side of WE. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, he's essentially a super creep. Realistically, 90 gold more. He's not that far off.
Yeah, I know.
So,
right?
might as well. Get the bot lane tower, get some gold back in your favor. And the thing is, because you don't get a kill, it actually doesn't reset your gold as the Gangplank. So, honestly, kind of a good shout. Now, as the Merc thread's completed, working up towards the Mortius as well. But OMG just goes straight back towards this Baron.
They go in, but there's going to be the equalizer on the heel who goes into stasis. You can see already Creme trying to find something, flashes over the wall, and they can keep going at this Baron. They can keep pushing it forward. Creme does eventually go over the wall. Smlz, what was that? That was awful there. Didn't hit anybody with his ultimate, but it still gets them off the Baron. Honestly, looking at the gold lead very quickly, it's only 3,500. It was 5. It's actually shrinking.
Yeah, I mean, it'll start to expedite again once OMG come out of the base here, go over towards the dragon. The only thing they were really trying to achieve there was, hey, look, can we try and get some picks? Because WWE have really good wave clear. When you look towards the ADC, Smlz, Beishang, even BiuBiu as well, like, you can clear out minions incredibly quickly with this lineup. So trying to bait Baron so they can look for picks, I don't hate. And as long as they're able to get over towards the dragon, which you can see now they have control of, they should be reasonably fine. But I still think pushing mid and looking for the tower bot is best bet.
Oh, God, BiuBiu. He's still very... Actually, you know what? He's got a bit of tank stats behind him. Got those Merc treads, Dagda. He's, you know, listening out for you. Got himself set up.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that once you get the Merc threads and you have the Maul Mortis completed, BiuBiu actually becomes quite difficult to take down. The only person I'd actually look at is Shanji, because he's got the Shadow Flame, which is going to be giving him a bit of magic penetration at least, and also having the Sork shoes there. It is flat, penetration though, rather than percentage, which may mean that BiuBiu can at least survive for that little bit longer, but definitely the amount of magic resist he's picked up is going to help a lot in trying to contest these side lanes.
I mean, this game is starting to kind of elongate right now. 23 minutes. Yes, you just got the soul point there for OMG, so you're waiting for 4.5 minutes, a little bit over it for the next one. But in 4.5 minutes time, you could have a third item on Axzir. You could have a third item on your Zeri.
Yeah, the problem is that this is what happens with melee compositions. Like, you've got 3 melee units that can't really go and push in towers because they'll get absolutely obliterated underneath the tower. And it's not late enough in the game that they can just rush a Baron. And there's no real contest coming through from WE at objective, so OMG, they are slowing down. But it's just a case of, like, once they actually find the fight they want.
Oh, there's a fight coming in. The equalizer is pretty big. Smlz trying to jump onto Cold right now. The Cannon Barrage is doing decent work as Aki tries to back himself away. He's down to about a quarter of his HP, and this game is starting to run away a little bit right now. OMG not as confident, not as comfortable to take those fights.
Again, it's them trying to contest vision. And yes, they get engaged on. The ult from Shanji was a little bit messy because everyone got to disperse from the actual equalizer and kind of back. But you just got to find those moments where Creme is actually involved in those plays and you're all right. Like, that was a 4v3. Like, I'm not worried about OMG in the slightest here. 3 minutes until the next dragon. And I guarantee you that is where their WE are going to absolutely explode.
I hope so, but I am a little bit worried because I've seen Zeri's, I've seen Azir's, and you know what, more importantly, I've seen Gangplank barrels, and even though he is 0-6 and 0, has literally had no impact on the game whatsoever. Well, actually, that's a lie. He took down a tier 2 on bot side. It's still OMG, and, you know, and it's the LPL. They love to have a little bit of a flip sometimes, but with the equalizer back, they should be able to try and, you know, contest once more.
Yeah, again, like, this is definitely OMG not playing incredibly well around opportunities they have on the map. Like, you can't just push mid as a unit, meet with Shanji and bot side, and clear at the tier 2. Same if you want to try and meet with Creme on top end and get the tier 2 there. Like, there are definitely ways OMG could be playing this better, but the 2 items that they're at the moment is exactly where OMG are at the strongest. The fact you still have Shanji and Creme, who are also massive thanks to the Dark Seal, even the Magi Associate, I believe that, yeah, just both of them actually picked up now. Like, they're totally fine. I mean, you can see here, like, this is why I have no problem with it.
I mean, I agree, but it's definitely not as clear-cut as it used to be. Doesn't quite hit the equalizer there, but again, it's on such a low cooldown, it's not really that big of a difference, so BiuBiu will survive right now, and that's the thing right now, is that previously he was dying, he's now surviving.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but is he thriving?
I'm trying to be positive, all right? He's not in his lane, he's not moisturized, and he's not flourishing, okay?
Yeah.
But he is still surviving.
Yeah, you need a lot more moisturizer to deal with the amount of flames that Shanji's throwing your way. But look, genuinely, like, it is a case of OMG not exactly playing the macro game perfectly. I do agree, but I just think that once you actually see these fights kick off, where WE are contesting versus the 4 or 5 man unit of OMG, WE are just going to get completely burnt to crisp. Like, Smlz is not in a position that he's strong enough. Shanks isn't there either. BiuBiu has had to completely derail himself for defensive stats, and here we go.
Here we go. The Cannon Barrage, though, is good to try and stop him out. Cold has to go into his stasis, and Beishang nearly goes down, or sorry, Heal nearly goes down. He actually survives just on the back side of this one here. OMG not quite able to get the damage down. Now they have to try and back themselves away. They will have a reset coming in. Heal lost all his summoners, but no one else really lost anything, so WE still survive another day, a minute, or just over it till Dragon spawns. The gold lead's only 2,000.
Yeah, this is a really bad position for OMG to fight in. Because of when you look at the spot on the map, there's too many ways for WE to separate, so then they can get away from the from the equalizer. Whereas for OMG, they're kind of all bunching themselves up to try and run through the choke point, which means they're getting a ton of damage off of, like, the Zeri, the Axzir, even as he's rightly pointed out, the Cannon Barrage. So I think OMG just getting a bit feisty and getting a bit impatient as to how they want to fight. And if that is the case, then definitely they're going to give a lot more time to WE. But with 40 seconds now until the Dragon, full vision control for OMG, and all their summoner spells, all the ultimates should in theory be back up. Maybe Colds might be a little bit late. They should be able to take this fight. But if you're not able to actually set up a Cold's ult, that can be an issue, but it should be about 10 to 15 seconds after the Dragon spawns.
Creme's dealing with topside right now. We've actually positioned themselves in the river. There's going to be the TP coming in. WE have 3 items on Smlz, by the way. He picked up his Infinity Edge. No Zhonya's for Shanks. He didn't quite have enough gold to finish it off just before they came into this fight. Now, Cold, half HP, has got flash, but he's not really in a position to go for this. This is starting to get a little bit dicey now for OMG. I don't think they can contest this.
No, they're going to just push in mid. Maybe you look for the steal. Creme goes in, though.
Nearly gets the steal. The smite wasn't even used by Beishang. There's a fantastic equalizer. Can they disperse, though? WE trying to back themselves the way the Crescent Guard. A flash forward by Abel as he does get the kill onto Beishang. And now BiuBiu, he might be going back to the grey screen. It's a double kill for Abel. Smlz gets buster shotted back as Shanji picks up a kill. It's the carries of WE trying to keep this one alive, but they just cannot do it. Smlz, though, gets 1, but will not get any more. It's a trade of 5 for 2. At the end of it all, they should be able to crack open the base.
Yeah, they should be able to go and meet that mid wave. No TP for Creme, though, means he won't be there, but looks like the pings are going on towards Baron, so we're not even going to look for the base. They're going to look for the big purple worm. Beishang is up in 5 seconds, though, and he also has his ultimate to get over the wall, so I don't know if this is actually the burger flip you want to go for OMG.
Yeah, they don't take it very quickly, and they've got heal with them as well, so they can disrupt. They've got BiuBiu coming up with teleport in 5 seconds. This is risky, and with the Hex Gates, WE have a shot.
I mean, this is super risky.
I mean,
you have your 2 highest damage dealers right now on OMG's side. What? Can Beishang get in? Vision is there.
BiuBiu is here now. He TP'd in. They're going to have vision of it. He's going to try and jump over the wall. Here he goes. He goes in. He steals it. And they're going to try and survive after it. But it doesn't matter if they do or they don't. Because at the end of the day, OMG took a flip. And the first kill goes over to BiuBiu. That could be the turning point of this game.
I mean, the fact that you get to now stall this game out is so important for WE. You bought yourself 3 minutes with, 5 minutes with this Dragon Steel. Now you're getting the Baron away as well, so this composition from OMG can't actually contest the towers properly. Like, this is actually a big issue now for OMG.
This is a problem. You've got a 25 stack Rumble, 3 stacks, Sylas, and it all starts from this Dragon because, again, you waste so much time chasing it, and you end up losing your big DPS for the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Cold doesn't have ult is actually the difference maker here. We kind of talked about it, like, Cold needs to be the big engage tool, and if you could have killed people quickly and not had to go on chasing ring around the Rosie, this could have been it. Like, Cold, again, gets a decent ult there. The Buster Shot whiffs, honestly, from Abel. It actually gives a ton of space towards Smlz, so Smlz is able to kite this out with that movement speed and just playing the edge, so he takes out more members. So messy fight from OMG, and this complete flip. Like, this was never the call that should have been made with Beishang coming up. Maybe they thought he didn't have his ultimate. They assumed he used it in the last fight, but that steal, so crucial.
Yeah, he didn't even actually get the smite down. He auto-attacked it right at the end there, but Baron not going to be enough to try and dissuade Beishang. Getting jumped on here. The Abscond of Duck with the equalizer, but that's Sylas dead. That's not really a trade you want. Great Emperor's Divide. The Crescent Guard ain't going to guard you from nothing here, son. Dagda, the wheels are starting to reverse. This game is starting to turn.
I don't even know if they're reversing. I think they're just coming off. Like, there's just OMG. I don't know what I'm watching. Like, this has been so unbelievably messy. Like, you have these big ultimates that Shanji's able to churn out, but Cold hasn't been able to set them up. They haven't really been fighting in good spots. The ultimates and sync up hasn't been there, and now you're diving onto these carries on WE who have Baron when all you had to do was try and, like, take your bot lane turret. But it's even the fact that OMG have only now decided that they're actually capable of taking these tier 2 towers after the Baron, after all the gold goes over. It's just baffling to me.
Yeah, again, I actually love this from Smlz. He knows who the damage dealers are. He's a force of nature right now. He's saying, yeah, I don't care what's going on. I just need to make sure I do not die to Shanji or Creme. Abel gets on top of me. I'm dead anyway. It doesn't matter what kind of armor I have. But with a minute spawning, or until the dragon spawning in, this is where the game starts to get a little bit tentative. You know, you got a Banshees as well onto Shanks. He's going to have a little bit of extra safety, and you've lost 10 stacks off of Creme. He's not as powerful as he was.
25 still on Shanji, so Shanji's still an issue. Nearly level 18, but again, like, the thing with Rumble is that he does eventually start to fall off because the flat pen doesn't do as much against the amount of magic resist that WE built up. As he said, Force of Nature, straight off 25% damage, just gone off of a magic damage abilities, thanks to Abel having that. So, SMLZ having that.
Here we go. We're going to see it engage. There's going to be the Curse of Sad Money. They're going to try and get on top of the Equalizer here, but no one's really falling down right now. Shanks going to find out Creme, who goes golden with probably, what, 2 HP? He's going to fall down. 15 seconds until the dragon spawns. They're going to take away this mid-tier 1. Maybe start to look backwards. They need to try and reset here. They need to try and get in position for this dragon.
Yeah, you can't go over towards the Baron. BiuBiu gonna reset, try and TP back in. Beishang is on the way, but because BiuBiu's resetting, now you've got to contest this 3v4. Beishang just here, but they can't get into the pit. It's gonna be gone.
Yeah,
they've messed this.
They messed up. They messed up. They're going to see now with a cannon barrage coming in. Aki gets caught up. There's the Emperor's Divide, but another Equalizer is good. They're going to try and maybe make this one work as Shanks trying to deal with Abel, but Abel is just too damn big. Now it's all on to SMLZ, but he's already been CC'd up, and you had an opportunity. BiuBiu's there to say hi, but a triple kill goes over to Abel, and honestly, WE, you had an opportunity. You just flubbed the execution.
BiuBiu shouldn't have reset. BiuBiu's reset completely scuffed that play. It meant that the 3 members of WE couldn't actually contest Dragon because they were 3v4, and now BiuBiu's gonna die anyway. They actually could have brought this back, but now OMG, they're the ones that are gonna be able to crack open the base here.
Yeah, it's not quite over just yet, but the Hex Soul does so much for OMG, slowing people down, the AoE, and even just the ability haste as well. You can see how often this Equalizer is up. He only just used it, and he used it again.
Yeah, it's even just stuff like the Kingslayer and that in this equation just makes it so incredibly tough. But here, like, this is the problem. You are 4 versus 5, Beishang, or 4 versus 4, but Beishang completely out of the equation already. BiuBiu is so incredibly... Look at where BiuBiu has to TP to. Like, he's not even part of this fight. Like, it was such a terrible idea from BiuBiu to actually go for the reset there. Even if you're half HP, that's still just enough to at least force a contest at the objective. Now you end up with the Hex Soul going across towards OMG, and the scaling advantage that you have ends up getting nerfed that little bit more because of all the extra damage that comes through from the Hex Soul, and also the ability to slow people down means that now Shanji, Sylas, these kind of champions have an easier time of keeping that gap in check.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you're still with a 25 stack full item rumble in that top side. 9, 0, and 8. You've even got full items onto Abel. He is a huge problem in the thorn in your side. We're going to see a full engage come in. Aki does get a knock up onto heal. There's going to be the Equalizer coming out. You can see already the Hex Soul doing its work. SMLZ, why are you there? Why did you try and help that out? You should have just backed away, and this should be a 1-1 scoreline.
I mean, WE had the opportunity, but again, OMG messing it up a little bit in the mid-game, gave WE that wiggle room, but now OMG should claim what was rightfully there as we get going.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a good Emperor's Divide, but it's only going to kill off Cole, and that's going to be enough here for OMG. A little bit rocky in that mid-game, but 11, 0, and 10 on Shanji. The man was a force upon himself, and that is going to be a nice win for OMG. You can see they're a little bit relieved. That could have went very poorly.
Yeah, that was very close to going poorly. Like, that one reset from BiuBiu, I think, actually cost WE so much there. But Shanji bringing it back. As you say, 11-0. This Rumble was huge. And honestly, the reason that OMG were able to win this game.
Yeah, honestly, it was basically just Shanji 100%. Those Equalizers were on such a short cooldown. He was getting them, apart from one right at the end around the Dragon Pit where he just completely whiffed it. But 9 times out of 10, they were very good positions to be able to just kind of either completely disperse people or to burn them down. And again, this is just why we have, such confidence in this top lane pick, top lane, I should say, for OMG specifically, because when he gets those resources, Shanji is a monster and honestly looks like one of the better performing top laners in the league right now.
Yeah, the fact that he's actually getting that little bit of help has made a difference. I don't know if I'd go as far to say he's one of the best performing. I think there's still a lot of holes. Better, okay.
I said better performing top laners.
But I think that's the improvement that we've seen when he gets those resources is like night and day. Especially as we talked about, like on the Shyvana, now on the Rumble, just that little bit of wiggle room to help him get going makes such a difference. And Shanji obviously going to be the MVP for this game because holy moly, the damage that came out from this guy was insane.
Yep, not even close. You got to be able to kind of look at it from there. But yeah, it was a good game from OMG. Again, they got the early advantages. I will say the mid game got a little bit dicey, but they put BiuBiu into the ground. And honestly, I think even when they had an opportunity to come back, BiuBiu just honestly was having such a bad game. Like you said, that reset just made no sense. His cannon barrages weren't really in great positions either. It didn't really work this game.
Yeah, I think though the fact that OMG gave so much time to WE because of their bad macro decisions, I think really helped out WE in this game and made this game a lot closer than it really needed to be. Like, you could see that when they lost the Baron, suddenly OMG were like, oh, well, we can actually push mid and then lean bot to take the top tower, or the bot lane tower. We could have done that, 5 minutes before that. You could have done it already at the top end as well, with the amount of time that you wasted trying to fuff around a Baron. So, I don't know, it felt like there was a lot more where OMG could have easily closed out this game. And I think that's why we're looking at OMG going, although you have these moments, you're just not going to be able to get in towards playoffs because this mid-game decision-making is one of your biggest cruxes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for OMG, they'll be counting their lucky stars they were able to get Shanji so far ahead. 21 KDA, 80% kill participation, absolutely absurd. And yeah, again, I think when we look at WE, I think I look at someone like, Smlz, who I really feel like when your top lane is that far behind and you get resources given to you. Remember, Beishang spent about 3 minutes grand total around that bot side just trying to make something happen and giving constant pressure to Smlz. He's just never really put himself in a position to be able to do anything for it. So we'll have to wait and see if it is going to be WE falling to the wayside again to a 0-6 scoreline, or if they can bounce back and get their first win of the split. We'll see you guys after the break.